Hello again and welcome. In this video, we're going to talk a little about document structure, some basic HTML tags, and how to create code comment tags and why use them. Without further ado, let's go ahead and open the Atom.io text editor and walk through the various examples. As you can see here, I've already opened up in the project window my assignment 1. From the introduction video, we included the process of creating a project folder and how to open it in Atom.io. If you have not done so, please go back and review that video. Or you can go through the process yourself now. It's not that difficult. But if so, you might need to pause. Now, I already have the assignment 1 folder open. I'm just going to right-click in that folder, click New File, and in my file name, I'm going to call it HTML fundamentals.html. And at line 1, I'm going to type HTML, and we're doing this because Atom text editor does a great job of auto-populating most of this content for us. So as you can see, as you type in HTML, it already has selected much of the content. So click enter, and it auto-populates all of the basic HTML tags that we need for a web page. Now, since we're here, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. In HTML, there are over 130 elements, which we often also call tags. Each tag has an opening tag and a closing tag. For example, if I type the paragraph element, which would be P, and hit enter, you'll notice that there is an opening tag and a closing tag. Inside these tags is where you would put your various text. The HTML document itself starts with a doctype. And that tells the browser that this is HTML. Now here, doctype says HTML, which specifies two things. First, this tells the browser that the first element, the root element, which is where the HTML is at, must be HTML. And you can see that here. The second thing that this tells us is that by default, this declaration specifies HTML5 as a doctype. But you could also specify any other doctype, or by referencing a specified DTD file called a document type definition. For example, we could trade out this HTML doctype and paste in a different one. Typing in this doctype definition would tell the browser to use a formal public identifier located at this URL. And so using public, we're now specifying the formal public identifier. And if you were to open this up into another browser, this address will actually open up and you can see a document type definition, and it specifies all that is needed for using a strict HTML 4.01. Okay, we're not going to be using that, so we're going to go ahead and trade that out, and we're going to continue using our doctype HTML. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to include this doctype HTML. If you don't, the browser interprets the web page in quirks mode. But if you include it, it's considered strict. Now, we're going to stop there on doctype because there is a lot more that we could do. We could actually specify our own document type definition and so forth, but we really don't need to get into that. The purpose of this is to go over the basic HTML tags, and doctype is really needed here. Now, as I said, it's fine not to have it, but doctypes are required for legacy reasons. Web browser will interpret it, but you really do need to have it. The doctype tells us that the root element on this page will be HTML. And if we look, the very first element on the page is HTML. The HTML tag specifies also a number of other things. For example, here, the HTML tag has an attribute with a key value pair that specifies language as English. That's what the EN represents. And then there's also a directionality tag that specifies the direction of the content on the web page. Here, it uses a left to right, which is standard English syntax. The next item that we see, next tag that we see here is the head tag. And the head tag will contain all of the hidden meta tags and title information that's useful for being seen on a web page, for interpreting that web page. The head tag will contain things like the scripts, the link tags, which will point to your different style sheets and so forth. But let's go ahead and look at the meta tag. The meta tag specifies metadata about the document. In this example, we are specifying that the meta tag has a character code of UTF-8. I don't want to go too much in detail about this either, but I'll say this, that when computers were first invented, the character set was very limited to only uppercase, lowercase, some English letters and numbers, and a few other special characters at around, at 128 characters. UTF-8, which also stands for Unicode Transformation Format, supports a huge number that you can see here on the screen. That huge difference, and I think we all really appreciate it and we're thankful for it, allows for multiple different languages to be represented now in HTML. The next tag that you see here is the title tag. And if we look at the title tag, right now it is empty. If we go ahead and look at our blank HTML page that's open, I'll go ahead and change this so that we're looking at the particular file. I'm going to go ahead and open up our HTML fundamentals. And here is our HTML fundamentals, and you'll notice that the default tag in this case is the name of the file. However, we could change this, and what we're going to do is change this tag. Let's see. Let's change it into something that's meaningful for us. My first web page. Click Save. We'll come back over to our HTML fundamentals file. We'll refresh it, and you'll notice that now we actually see some content here. We see that the title tag is showing up on the tab, and that there is a paragraph tag in here that says, "Hi, I am a paragraph." Okay, now that's the meta tag and the title tag. And then following this, we find the next tag, which is the body tag. The body tag is where page content can be displayed. All content inside the body tag will be rendered in the browser. And we can see that here with our web page. We've already demonstrated the paragraph tag, but the paragraph tag is a basic unit of text within an HTML document. It naturally formats the text into readable units and separates them into paragraphs. So for example, if I copy this information and do it again, and let's take out the hi in the third one and say this is the third paragraph. We'll put in this one. This is the second paragraph. We already have the first, so let's go ahead and pull back up our page again. And if we look at it and refresh it, we'll see that it naturally formats the pages into these sections. This is important to remember. Paragraphs in themselves they use a natural spacing. And we probably should talk about white spaces and line breaks here at this point. All white space characters are unprinted character spaces between words and lines. Now, here's the thing. If you try to, for example, enter a number of spaces here, and if we go back to our page and we were to refresh it, you'll notice that it doesn't do anything. And similarly, I could have a line break just by entering like that. And if I refresh it, it will not do anything. The reason for this is the browsers interpret one space or multiple spaces as only one space, meaning it treats whatever you type inside of the paragraph tag, whether you have multiple spaces or multiple line breaks, it renders it only as one space. And this brings up a good question. How do I then, how do I add appropriate spaces, and how do I add appropriate line breaks? Well, let's say I'm in the paragraph tag and for some reason I want to add a line break. The easiest way to do that is by adding the BR tag. Let me take that extra symbol out. Now if I refresh it, save it and refresh it, and on my page, you'll notice that it actually breaks the line. And if we wanted to, we could add the line break after each word. And let's just go ahead and refresh it, and you can see that it breaks the lines. The other character that you can use here for adding spaces, if you really do need to add extra spaces, it's a special character. The other character that you can add to have a space within a paragraph would be the non-breaking space special character. And the way we do that is we type the ampersand symbol, NBSP semicolon. And the browser will interpret that as a space. Now, what we'll do is we'll add several here. And we can use that to add spaces. And you can actually see that there's the actual spaces. So those are the two ways that you can actually break lines or add spaces. Another good way to group a collection of paragraphs and images, links, and other content is by using the section tab. So let's go ahead and take out some of our changes here. And I'm going to remove all of my break lines for a moment. The section tag offers a way to group these related paragraphs, and if you have images or links or other content, by using that tag. So let's go ahead and create a section here. We'll hit enter, and I'm going to copy my paragraph and put it inside the section tag, create another section, and we're going to copy this paragraph and put it inside that section. And then my last section tag. And again, we'll take this paragraph, we'll cut it, and we'll paste it inside. Now, the reason why we're using a section tag is because it allows us to group a common collection of tags. And it's very often with a section tag that you want to include some type of heading. Headings come in many flavors. They come in H1, H2, H3, all the way through H6. So I'm going to type in H1. And if you're thinking about this in Microsoft Word or Google Docs, this is your headers, right? Your headers. So I'm going to say this, let's say, first paragraph. And inside this section, I'm going to put a second one. This is going to be an H2. And we'll call this the second paragraph. And down here inside my next section, I'm going to create an H3. And you'll notice I'm actually typing out the tag there, because you need to know that if you're not using Atom, or the text editor you're using doesn't have these features, it's the less than symbol, the tag name, the element name, greater than symbol, and then you use less than symbol backslash the tag name, so forth. That's your opening and closing tags. So here I'm going to say my third paragraph. I'm going to save that, go ahead and refresh my browser over here, and now we can see that we have an H1, we have a second paragraph, which is an H2, and a third paragraph, which is an H3. And for clarity, we're just going to type in H1, put a dash there, and down here I'm going to say H2. Whoops, it's trying to be helpful, too helpful, and we're going to take this out and make it an H3. Save it, just so we can see the different headers. All right, so that gives us our different headers. And again, the headers go all the way from H1 up through H6. Now, you may be wondering, why do I need to use sections? Well, it's really good practice to group your content in semantically meaningful tags. And the reason we want to do this is, as you get into using CSS later on, you want to be able to specify a particular section, possibly with CSS. You don't want to have to specify every element in it separately. And that's why you can only, if you want to specify just the section, it will encapsulate everything else. All right, let's go ahead and look at some other text formatting tags that you can use. These text formatting tags, I'm going to use the word here, semantically purposeful. And the reason I say that is because they specify a specific usage. So in a paragraph, maybe I have something that I want emphasized. This tag that we're going to encapsulate this with is called the EM tag. And the EM tag basically makes this italicized. So let's go ahead and put that back in there. And I'm misspelling emphasized. There we go. We'll refresh our page, and you can see that I want emphasized. So the EM tag gives us that emphasis. Similarly, we could use the cite tag. So for example, say you have a famous quote. President Lincoln once said, "Fourscore and..." So if I want this particular area to be semantically italicized, semantically styled, I would use the cite tag. So we'll type in CITE, and we'll encapsulate it with the correct one. Now, the reason why we use these particular elements, the reason why I use the cite for citing someone and the emphasis for emphasizing someone has to do with our screen readers. Screen readers are made available to those who have visual impairments. And it's very important that you use the correct semantic tag for specifying your code, okay? Because the screen readers are going to pick that out and use those. So let me see here. I'm going to save it, and we're going to go back and look at our first web page again. We'll refresh it, and you can see that now this is also in italics. We have various other ones. We can use the strong tag, and the strong tag basically makes it bold. We refresh it again, go over here and, oops, come over here again and save it and refresh it. We can see that that's in bold. We also have the mark. We can make a particular area highlighted like a marker. So we can just put mark. And you'll notice that I'm using the opening tag and the closing tag here. Remember, opening tags do not have the backslash. Closing tags have the backslash at the beginning of the tag statement. Okay, so we'll save that. You again refresh, and you'll see that it's now like it's highlighted. You can also specify the colors differently with CSS. You can make it pink, red, blue, whatever you want to make. There are also various other emphasized tags. There's one called the variable tag. If you have a variable in your computer program that you're writing and you want to maybe copy a piece and put it in HTML so that people can follow along with what you're doing, you can wrap it in the var tags. You have a KBD tag, which stands for keyboard input. We also have code tag, which stands for computer code, so you can make your text stand out a little bit differently. We have sample, which again applies a different sample to it. We also have something called the bold tag and the italics tag. And the bold tag is basically just a B character. And I'll just type in third. I'm going to remove this one. And it will make it bold. And the italics character is just an I. And it will do pretty much exactly what the cite and the emphasis will do. Now, the I tags are used quite a bit right now with specialty font libraries and CSS libraries, and they use these for inserting icons, the I tags. You can as well underline text by using the U tag, and that will underline the characters. So if we go ahead and save that again, we're going to refresh it, and you'll see the bold, the italicized, and the underline. Okay, now there are a bunch here that you probably need to take a look at in your Zybooks textbook, as well as in W3 Schools and other sites. You'll find a complete list of the text formatting tags that you can use. Okay, I have one more that we're going to do, and then we're going to close out this video. This is getting kind of long, and that is the comment tag. The comment tag is used specifically for putting comments in the code. And anything that you wrap in a comment tag will not be rendered by the browser or displayed. Comment tags are often used by myself and other developers so that maybe we don't want to release a particular portion of our HTML to be seen. Maybe we're not done with it yet, but we're ready to release the rest. Or maybe we have comments that we want to keep for ourselves, something that we want to remember, like a to-do list or whatnot. And the way that you do that in HTML is you type the less than symbol, the exclamation, dash dash, and then the comment, dash dash, greater than symbol. And that is a comment. Now, if I try to refresh this, you'll notice that the comment doesn't appear. Anything inside this comment tag, specifically where I have highlighted the text, will not display. You can use comment tags, for example, to hide a particular piece of text. So we can say dash dash, and I'll come down here, hit enter, dash dash, save it, and now the third paragraph after a refresh will go away. That whole section is gone. You cannot, however, embed a comment inside of a comment. So for example, if I went ahead and tried to put the comment, closing comment down here, you'll notice that Adam actually treats this, it highlights it differently because it doesn't know what to do with this extra piece. And the reason is well, let's go ahead and refresh it first so you can see. Let's save it and then refresh it. There you go. And it actually displays the closing part of the comment. And the reason for this is when you look at the way the computer reads this, it starts with this opening comment and it expects that what's inside is going to be the text. And then it looks for the first instance of the closing comment, which is right here. And because it finds it right there, well, it doesn't know what to do with that other than just display it. All right, so this is an invalid example. You don't want to write your comments. You cannot nest comments. Okay, that is it for right now, and I think we're going to call it quits for this video. We'll have another one here in a moment that will deal with the rest of the lists, the tables, the images, links, and so forth. See you soon.